is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
What happened?
Did you have a stroke?
What do we do? Did I do something wrong? I felt
No,
okay.
no.
You had to think about it for a second. Is he Tom?
Yeah, we're live on YouTube and Twitch right now, and you can watch Twitch and YouTube. Just search at Tom and Dan Live. We would love it if you'd like and subscribe.
We have our Beer Fest and Sofa and Suds this weekend. Beer Fest is on Saturday.
Yeah, ma'am.
Get there at noon for your free sample cup and wristband. We're giving away 500 gift bags at noon. Basically, it goes until the pouring starts at 2. We got a live band. The Silver Linings Band is playing. So music, food trucks, vendors.
30-plus different beers out there. Those gift bags, here's all you need to know. I think I saw a bottle opener in there. Boom. There you go. There you go. Boots on the ground.
Very on brand.
People love a bottle opener.
There are over 30 different craft breweries and alcohol companies giving out free samples.
THC seltzers and other little cocktails.
Yellow Brick Road is selling a bigger pour pint glass, commemorative pint glass. That'll be $20. 100% of all revenue goes to Yellow Brick Road Foundation. Daniel and I bought the pints, the pint glasses, so the Yellow Brick would get 100% of all
the
revenue.
money goes back to Yellow Brick Road. If you don't know what YBRF.org does, they do a lot of great work for families and children that have congenital heart defects, because that can be, that can just level your family. Oof. And YBRF, they know what they're doing, and they really, really do a lot of great work in our community.
And then the sofa races are the next day. I'm sorry. I feel like compelled that I have to plug this as much as possible, because if no one shows up, I'm going to be mad as hell. Let's did a bunch of work for nothing.
Yeah. And you don't want to hear the really crazy part? Is no one knows what the phrase "no one shows up" means, because only he knows. It can be, it's some equation in his mind, and he'll look out over it, and if he deems it good, he'll be like, we're okay. If not,
you'll never know.
Yeah, you'll never know. That's what makes it so crazy, but I understand what he's doing. There's a lot of pressure to put on ourselves.
Yeah, you'll know what
the biggest crowds ever and all that stuff. You'll be fine.
No, we're done. No, we got reset with COVID. We got the reset.
The weather's going to be perfect.
It's fantastic. It's great outside right now.
Well, you have no reason to not come out if you've ever wanted to drink a delicious craft beer for free with a legal ID in the streets of Sanford and do some Sanfording. This would be the time to go.
And the thing is, of course, you have to be 21 and up to get your sample cup and wristband, but you could bring your families. You could bring, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not much to do for kids around, but if you want to
say that.
Well, it's not like we have kids-specific things, but it's a street party, and you want to, so it's not like the kids aren't allowed or that.
Bring some chalk, and your kids are fine. They can draw all over the place.
And especially sofas and suds. Anyway,
that is most definitely a family event, and you have no reason not to come out. Bring a friend.
Dog friendly?
If you've ever wanted to meet it is dog friendly. Okay. If you've ever wanted to meet us, say hi, talk to us, come on out. I want to shake hands, kiss, and kiss babies.
So
not really though.
Yeah. If I lean over to kiss your baby,
slap my face. I slap my face and say, "Get the hell out of here! Why are you kissing my baby?" I'm like, "I'm drunk."
So EJ's here. How you doing?
Hey,
what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Do you want to play the Nerd Jock theme, or do you want to play the new one? I wrote a new one.
Oh, you wrote a new one?
Yeah, I wrote a new one.
No,
I'm going to have to do a lot of editing, but I don't care. My show.
It's worth it.
It's totally worth it. So I wanted.
I'll screw myself.
Exactly.
I got to do the work. Who cares?
Watch me flush my head in my own toilet. Here we go. This is the brand new Nerd Jock theme.
Nerd Jock, big fat guy with a tiny cock. Nerd Jock, no one listens to this. U of M, Pokemon Go, smallest ding dong on the show. U of M, Pokemon Go, smallest ding dong on the show.
I want this played every time now.
Nerd Jock, tiny cock, Nerd Jock, tiny cock, Nerd Jock. Tiny cock, Nerd Jock.
Okay, there you go. Oh, I'm out of breath. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, ditch the old one. That's the new one for sure. Play that every single time.
But like every time Daniel has to go back and edit.
I would love that. No, don't. It has to leave all the words in, so you have to do the edit every single time.
Put the beep in. And you're like, no. I go back after. And I'm like, we're bound for this. That's fine.
It's okay.
No one cares.
It's okay. We got a new chairman of the FCC.
Chicken.
No, we got a new chairman of the FCC yesterday.
Yeah, who is it?
And he said,
is it Hulk Hogan?
No, I don't know who it is, but he said we need to get our free speech back.
Oh,
I said, I agree. I said, yes, you are true. What you are saying is correct, sir.
There should be a thing where everybody can communicate freely around the world. Like describing the internet. What the hell are you talking about?
You have to say anything you want at any time.
You can't do that.
And send pictures of yourself naked to your family members.
Oh, man. I'll play that for my daughter when I get home.
Okay.
So, EJ, you want to start with
Let's
some
start
sports?
with sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely going to start with the NFL.
All right.
On my boobs?
No, it's
Okay.
wait. You're taller than most
I'm
of our
sorry,
guests.
yeah.
So before you bring up your topics, I want to
Get your NFL
Bring up
out
my
of the way.
topic.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something that I'm getting great enjoyment from.
You're losing to your Steelers bet?
And that way, one game left. If they lose the rest,
They have to lose out for them to fail.
they're 8-2 right now.
They're doing really
I have
well.
$600 on under 8.5.
Oh, no.
But I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, maybe Jameis Winston.
The Browns will beat them.
Twice. God damn it.
'Cause isn't that their first conference game that was against the Ravens this week?
God damn it. So what,
I had to take him down a peg.
So back to my favorite thing.
Okay.
I like when rich old men's kingdom crumbles.
I was saying the same thing in bed to him.
So, and this is the second incident
And then
with his new stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And
Now-
then they
The
shoot
sunlight.
him, but then they shoot him to
saying-
where he is, and he's sitting there. He's all
And he looks so
okay.
bad.
I'm watching the
The
Dallas.
Jake Paul fight
Oh no, I'm
where
watching.
the audio's not working.
No, God damn it! I'm watching the Monday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys take on the Houston Texans last night.
Dudable.
And before the game start, they're like, something happened before the game. A giant piece of sheet metal came flying off the roof, and then it floated down like a leaf. But it's like a 100-pound, like it
Like
was like
16 foot of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
sheet
yeah,
metal.
it
Yeah,
was
I
massive.
heard about it. Yeah.
like it could easily kill
Yeah,
someone.
I guess they could
And-
just slice you in half or smash
Yeah.
your skull. Or
and it came floating down like a giant metal leaf, and then landed. And then they were like,
then they showed on the field. They would go,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
they
Like, this
showed
is where
just
it hit.
like a patch of turf.
and then they're like, another piece was stuck up in the rafters.
And then they cut to the guy
Yeah.
who is not, he's dressed in a dirty white t-shirt and Dickies pants.
And they're like, and they decided that instead of just risking letting it fall, they were just gonna bolt it to the scaffolding.
Oh my god.
Until the end of the
That's
game.
definitely OSHA compliant.
I love that too.
And they were like, don't worry, they bolted it good. And then you see Jerry Jones, old ass, just looking up there and pointing, he's mad. And then last week, the sun was beaming through the giant glass windows they
Yep.
have there,
Yeah.
and CeeDee Lamb couldn't see anything, and then the pass just floats by him, and then he's like, I couldn't see the
see
sun.
it, yeah.
And then they were asking Jerry Jones about it. He's like, I'll just tear the whole place down. Screaming.
But first he said that thing, he's like, we have it there so we can see where the position of the sun is. Did you hear that part?
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
so
and
justifying
it's
it.
been fine for the last 15 years. Oh, I love him
Yeah,
melting
yeah.
down.
Yeah. So, and I've been to that stadium.
Yeah,
It is.
It's a monstrosity, right?
It is. I mean, one of the biggest buildings. I never
It's
got
the
to go
biggest air
inside.
isn't it the biggest air conditioned space in the world?
I don't know.
There's something like it. There's
Maybe.
some
At the time it was built, it
Yeah.
may have been the
Yeah.
biggest air conditioned space. They may have built some
there's
bigger
some
ones
weird
since.
thing he touts about it.
But it is gigantic, and the fact that sheet metal's falling off the roof like leaves, and then the sun is beaming through the windows
Yeah.
and ruining the team's chances to win, it makes me laugh because it brings Jerry Jones down a
It brings
peg,
him down, yeah.
bound to our level. So when things are falling apart in my house, I'm like, I'm just like Jones.
You're salting your egg
Yeah.
McMuffin.
My
Well,
house
I
is
mean-
falling apart too, and I eat egg
Yeah,
McMuffins.
yeah. Tom and Dan know a thing or two about it's falling, bolted down.
Yeah.
Like, we know
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that. We are the bolted down guys. It is. Yeah, it's the largest. It's known as the largest fully air conditioned space in the world, or one of 3 million square feet.
There's some.
So it's right up there with the airport Hajj terminal in Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi.
And even though I don't know Jerry Jones and he could be the nicest old man in the world, I doubt it.
Yeah, very highly.
Yeah. And I just think it's funny when you're a billionaire with unlimited money and things are not going right for you.
Here's
because
all I know.
Again,
all I know, if I owned the team and I were there with Jamie Foxx, I'd make a pecker joke too. I would.
Yeah. And
I would make a
things I
pecker
brought you
joke,
guys,
and then
yeah.
they'd have to turn off the live, and I'd be, sorry
Instagram
about
Live. Let's go.
and then as you're watching your kingdom crumble, you're also watching your team and Cooper Rush. I mean, just play the worst football ever.
Yeah, horrible.
And then as you're watching Cooper Rush just get annihilated every play and throw interceptions, you're like, well, maybe we'll go to our third string quarterback. And then you look over and it's Trey Lance. and then you were reminded that this was a stupid trade.
Yeah.
And he's worse than the garbage we have on the field now.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna roll with the garbage. And
roll
it's
with the
just
garbage is
falling
good.
apart. And Dallas, I mean, couldn't look any worse and are going to have a horrible record.
Well, at least Zeke's
You
back.
should have put the bet on them instead of the Steelers.
Yeah, well, I know, EJ. And then
Did anybody think
Think
that?
they were going to have a
when-
good season?
when-
No.
Well, but no.
Even
when,
though he said they were all in and we're going to try to win
when
everything.
Dak signs a massive deal, do we all think? Did anybody think? Oh, okay, it's good now. We're good.
Oh,
now.
as
No,
soon as
no
he
one
signed
thought-
it,
Nobody
he was going to
thought
get
that.
hurt.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I mean, they ruined it for years with the Zeke Elliott deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like they paid him way too much. Anyway, and then the trade or rumors are circulating that Jerry Jones, obviously McCarthy's going to get fired this year, and they need a new head coach, and they're like,
No. One more fake punt. Hold on, one more. Let me just start. Third time's the charm. Come on. I did it against Atlanta. I did it last night. When they did it last night, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Such a
They're
bad
like, they'll never
idea.
see it coming.
Gotcha.
Oh, they easily saw it coming as the punter floats a horrible fluttery pass. And then they're like, well, maybe they're going to get Bill Belichick. And then I laugh because
No
do you
way.
think Bill Belichick wants Jerry Jones over his
Breathing down his
shoulder,
neck all the time?
telling him what to
way.
do?
Oh my God.
And that's how he wants to end his career with crazy-ass Jerry
No,
Jones.
have you seen his the mermaid and the pictures
Yeah.
he's taking at Halloween? Yeah,
fisherman?
that guy's fine. Leave him alone.
Yeah, and especially with a team that's they paid way too much for certain players. It's falling apart. They owe a bunch of salary cap money. It's just
They need to rebuild.
I mean,
Yeah.
breaking news, because I know you have other sports stuff you want to carry.
Talk about Tommy DeVito.
But breaking news goes to Manu Bowl. Dallas and the Giants have a Monday night game this year, so we will get to see Cooper Rush versus Tommy DeVito.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Daniel Jones got benched, and he's like
Yeah.
QB3 now. He's not even the backup.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's another one too. If you're a Giants fan, you're like, we just paid this guy a lot of money. That's what the worst. You bench him, and then you're like, still have to pay. He's sitting there. He's like, I made $114 million. I'm sitting here now. I was so bad that you took me out, and it's like, oh man, that's real bad. Anyway,
Yeah.
What else you got, buddy?
Well, what else did we talk about in the NFL? Like, what else do you guys want? I like the Dolphins won. That was always good. But
yeah, I mean, the record's so bad, and what are we even doing?
They can win out.
Atlanta's terrible. I mean, the Bucks are.
dude, they looked bad.
the
Atlanta
Bucks
looked
are
really
a
bad
far
against
better
Denver.
team, and
Yeah.
they're it's only a matter of can they win enough games to overtake
Make the playoffs,
them.
yeah.
I mean, we're not good.
We could talk about the thing that happens every year when there's an undefeated team that finally gets defeated,
Yeah.
where the memes come
Even
out.
though it was the Bills.
Of the old man, 72 Dolphins,
Popping the
champagne,
champagne. Yeah.
which I don't think they do anymore, by the way, because the pictures they're showing, I'm like, this is 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
it looked like Jimmy Carter with his mouth open. You know.
And then
Who is that? Terry Schiavo?
And then I feel like it's not even exciting anymore because I wasn't even concerned at all because the 72 Dolphins undefeated record is the only thing I have as a Dolphins fan.
That holds,
In fact,
yeah.
I was telling Crystal the other day, I'm like, I may die before the Dolphins get in the Super Bowl again. And that chances are it's hard to get there.
Yeah.
So
It's tough.
There are, I'm sure, many of fans that have died before their team got into the Super Bowl and they ever got to see it. Even though the Chiefs were 9-0 or whatever they were, I'm like the chances of them going all the way 17-0 and winning the Super Bowl is so astronomical that I'm not even even though they were 8-0, I was like, oh, what if they go undefeated? Because I'm like, you get close to the end
they
of the
weren't
year.
blowing teams out either. They were
Yeah,
low
they
scoring.
were barely winning. Yeah.
They were 14 points, 21 points, something
And
like
Mahomes
that.
was throwing more interceptions than he has
and
touchdowns
that's not
too.
to say they're not an amazing.
They're a
that's not
good
what I'm
team.
saying.
They win when they're bad.
They're a winning. They're a mega winning football team. My point is that they weren't just like blowing people
Yeah,
out.
They're winning by small margins. Blocked field goal against Denver. They were bound to lose, and they're in such a lead in their division that they have games they could throw away.
Yeah,
there's no reason to get hurt.
I think they took their eyes off the prize. I think seriously. I think it's old. What's his name? The Walrus. Andy Reid. With that Bundle of Rooski Doo commercial he did.
Oh God, that curse is so bad.
That's the curse. The Bundle of Rooski Doo. Have you seen the commercial?
Say it, you'll like it.
Where they make Andy Reid look like a fool, and he's standing there, big fat Andy Reid standing there, and it's like he's doing a commercial for State Farm, and they're doing a bundle. It's everything's bundles, and he goes, Bundle-a-rooski doo, and he's like, say it. He's like, bundle-a-roo,
instead of the fumble-rooski.
Yeah, and he's like, and he keeps doing it. I'm like, stop that. Don't do
Patrick
that.
Mahomes is like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm like, you're not better than that either.
Yeah, none of it.
Don't pretend like
if
you're better
anybody
than
should
that.
be saying it should be Kermit the Frog, not Andy Reid. Andy Reid shouldn't be saying it.
He's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Don't do that. That's the minute he said bundle-a-rooski doo, I knew they weren't going to have an undefeated season. I knew it.
He seems like he's kind of always joking and jovial and never a hard-nosed, D-head.
Yeah.
Even when Kelsey's yelling at him, like, what the fuck? He's like yelling at him. He's like, oh, easy, take it easy.
And it's weird that you get that far as a head coach and with that record and achieve that much without having a D-head reputation at all. Everybody's unlikable.
If I ever meet Andy Reid,
you didn't have to be a D-head at all to get where you're at.
I'm going to shake his
There's
hand.
two types of coaches.
And I'm going to look into his eyes. I'm going to say, bundle-a-rooski doo. I'm going to say it to him.
And then hand him a hamburger.
Yeah, no, he does that too much.
I know. I don't like the hamburger
Stop goofing
thing.
on your weight.
Yeah.
You're fine. You're fine the way you are. No body shaming.
So what else sports you want
Well, we're going to talk about the NBA Cup that's hosted by Emirates. Have you seen that, where they do the in-season tournament? And the Magic are undefeated so far
the Magic are on a run right now. We had dipped down after Apollo got injured. The Magic weren't doing very well, but Franz Wagner.
They keep winning at home, though.
Franz is taking it on his back. I mean, they are, he's very consistent. They're putting up good points. They look really good.
Yeah.
I don't want to say much more than that.
They just got to do well in their division because they got
the in-season tournament.
They get the Nets and the Knicks in the tournament to do.
You can never do this with football because I think it's too
many games.
It's too many games, but it would be, and I don't know if this is the reason for it, but I think this is the reason for it. It used to be that in the NBA, in the middle of the season, it would just kind of grind.
Lull,
yeah, there's this lull, and you're just grinding games, and there was never any real excitement about it. So you put this in-season tournament where every player that wins this tournament gets $500,000.
All right, that's
so for young guys,
pretty good.
And
if
you're making league minimum, you're doing that's a huge bonus.
They explain this in Starting Five. They explain about how this tournament, especially if you're like rookies. I mean, imagine if you're Bronny, right? You're Bronny, you're playing with your dad, or basically they ship you off to the G League.
Yeah.
So, but let's say they bring you back and you play. If you win the tournament, I mean, that's boom. You
doubled your salary.
Not
basically.
that Bronny needs it, but my point is if you were a young guy. And you're playing on a team, I mean, you could definitely make some serious coin doing that. And I like the way the courts look. Yeah, they make the courts look very.
They also have special jerseys.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. I like it. It's fun.
Also gives fans something to root for when these middle games really don't count. Each win or loss, you're like, okay, well, this is well,
the
5 or 6 of these.
It makes
doesn't
matter
really
more now.
The Lakers won it last year. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Basically
last year, so it was their mid-season win.
Yeah. What else you got, EJ?
The other thing we got to talk about Orlando City. They're playing Atlanta this weekend, right?
Yeah, and Atlanta.
And they win, and it's whoever wins plays New York. Which one of the two New York teams?
And Atlanta had put out Messi and Miami.
Yeah.
So we're playing. I mean, this is as far as my soccer friends go, this is the rivalry.
scenario you want. Yeah.
You want Atlanta, Orlando. You hate Atlanta.
And so, when's the game? This.
Did I write it down? No, I didn't.
Oh my God! What are you, bus decker over here?
No,
everybody forgetting everything today. Holy smokes! We have to talk about Orlando
you said I was
City. Oh, really? Do we have to?
Up on the
if we have to,
didn't know when the game is.
When's the game? No idea.
It's this weekend. I think it's on Sunday.
Hold on. Where's my tiny cock song?
Now you're gonna peep that out again.
He already has the pen out to write it down that he was going to do
it. And also, it's definitely not on a Sunday. That's what football is. They don't play it on Saturday.
Pollinate or anything like that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah. They'll play it on a Saturday or
it's Sunday at 3:30. Actually,
I was right. See, there you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, I don't know nothing either. Tiny cock.
This is my favorite segment you've ever done. I needed this. Oh, this is the way the show should. This is the way the show should be. I feel so much freer.
What
now.
else do we got?
So, but that's the only thing I had is about
All
that.
right.
And then we talked about the Tyson Paul fight. We already did all.
I don't want to talk about that anymore.
There's no more reason to talk about.
I'm done with
Was
that.
he high the whole time?
I'm done with it. You know what I'm railing on now? How Jake Paul is losing his hair, and everybody should.
He's biohacking. I heard.
It doesn't matter.
Who
look
cares?
Look at his horrible hair.
Yeah, what you don't even need to biohack for that. They have treatments.
Just get a surgery.
Yeah, the hair plug treatment or the hair restoration works, and lots of movie stars do it, and it looks great. Ask Steve Carell, or there's tons of others. And it
ask
looks,
Jim Colbert. He knows. Next time you see him, ask Jim Colbert about medical hair restoration.
You have unlimited money. You can go to a country that does it. I think a lot of people go to Turkey.
Yeah.
I ain't going to no Turkey.
But there's
Thanksgiving. You should go.
There's insane, high-profile plastic surgery doctors in L.A. that will do it. It's easy to get done. It's
get a
weird
butt
that you
lift in
won't
Brazil.
do it.
Hey, what happened to I thought Tracy was getting us some of that Blue Chew money. I'm having some problems.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
And the news junkie said it changed his life. So,
well, you could.
well, he didn't technically say that. I'm just assuming it did.
You can get it. We just got to work out the business so they give us
money,
the monies and the promo code. But you could try it.
Yeah, they'll probably give you some free samples.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
need some samples.
Well, you just go on those kind of things now. Like it used to have to get some sort of doctor prescription for it. You just go online and just fill out the.
Can't you have
form.
a heart attack? Doesn't it?
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to the gas station pick it up.
It's It's just some
It's the same stuff, right?
Essentially, like they say you need some sort of doctor to like read the words
So
you
it's
type
medical
them.
marijuana, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all you have to do you have any pre-existing conditions? No,
It doesn't
got
work.
I have to
That's
admit,
what I
have
need.
to admit something to you too right now. I'm addicted to marijuana.
I knew that. I am too.
Okay, all right. Okay, good.
Of course I am.
That's not a secret.
What-
All right.
Everybody is.
Not me.
Well, this guy's a nerd.
Yeah, this guy, Pokemon Go, Tiny C. Saving myself some work.
I was like, wait, I thought you were gonna do it. I was like, oh, I'm
But I wanted to
disappointed.
say it so
We don't
bad.
have all day. God damn it. Move on.
All right, keep going. What do you got next?
Let's go over to nerd stuff then. Have you seen the Minecraft trailer?
I have.
With
My
Jack
sons.
Black? Are they really excited about it?
They are excited because
Is it slickadoo, skakadoo, gagabee? That's Jack
yeah,
Black.
Jack Black
Is
is, as Steve.
Hello, it's me, Steve.
yeah, Minecraft Steve. He's the generic white dude in Minecraft.
Okay.
What else are the other guys' names?
Jason Momoa's in it.
Oh, he's the Islander.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
like the pigs and the zombies and
yeah. What's the green long
Creeper?
zombie?
The creepers? Yeah.
Creeper. See, I know my stuff.
Anyway,
Who plays the creeper?
We'll
Jelly Roll.
talk.
Jelly Roll plays the creeper. He would make a good creeper,
He would make a
right?
good creeper,
Jelly
yeah, if
Roll
he
would
did the
make
voice,
an excellent
yeah.
creeper.
Now this is I feel
You know what? I want, just real quick, sorry. I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
Jelly Roll to start wearing some color.
instead of black.
That's just my wish for the
All he does
world.
is
In
black all the time?
2025, all he wears is black, and everything is God bless the broken road, and son of a sinner, and world turned his back on me. This year, I want to get him in some like Bermuda shorts, some board shorts. I wanted some
Have RuPaul
colorful
help him
I
out.
want some colorful tank tops.
the dressing in all black. I could see him and his like entourage. Like this is a slimming color. Like black's always been a slimming color. But at some
Not if it's a
point,
tarp.
Yeah. What are we trying to? We're not trying to make the Statue of Liberty disappear, David Copperfield.
Yeah. At a certain point, it's like you could just wear whatever. You can wear a
We know what you
Hawaiian
are.
shirt. It doesn't. There's
Yeah.
no hiding it. At this point.
Okay, sorry, I just needed to say that.
But back to Minecraft. So I feel like this is kind of secretly going to be a blockbuster hit that people won't.
Isn't it a little late though? Don't you feel like that they, as far as intellectual properties go, don't you feel like they're kind of
But did you think like Sonic was going to be a hit?
Well, I
think because
no,
it
you're
was
right,
a little
you're
late
right.
for that one
That's
too.
a good
I
argument.
think
That's a good argument.
and Sonic was a huge hit.
That's a good argument.
But it also had that one thing where they changed Sonic and they actually listened to the audience. It was like I think that was their hook too.
But why I'm saying this is because I think parents or people with kids are going to be surprised when this movie makes so much money because they're going to be like, "What the hell?" Because I feel like if you're not a parent, you maybe know what Minecraft is, but
You'd have to be younger.
Yeah, you're
like
just,
Sam would know,
you know
it.
how
And I use
popular
her.
it is.
Well, I use her as like my, hey, here's a person that's still younger but doesn't have children, right? So she knows what Minecraft is just because of her age.
But she doesn't play it.
No.
I feel like that's a game that adults like. Now, I've played it with my sons before, but I feel like you're maybe not playing it as an adult with no kids. Randomly, maybe.
No. I only know one
maybe
adult,
you are,
but
she's
it's
doing
only
it for
one
Twitch.
person.
That's the only
I
thing
know
I can
one
see.
person that does it on his own, and it's for anxiety, and that's Tuttle. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
an insane.
Really?
He's an insane person.
No, but I know some adults may play it and enjoy it. I'm just saying, like, you're probably going to play a first-person shooter or Fortnite or
Call of
something
Duty or
before
Fortnite,
Minecraft. It's just a lot more creative and just like kind of, you're building things and it's more kid-centric. But my sons have grown up with Minecraft. It was their first like beloved video game and still play it, not as much anymore, but for sure is
Build some
interested in
stuff.
the movie because the brand equity it has with them is huge. And even with me, because they've played it for so many years. Because it's a game that kind of didn't grow out of fast because you could do so much with it.
You know how you get like advertisements on Facebook and or Instagram for like things that you basically talk about? Because we talk about Minecraft and stuff like that, and I've been getting these ads for, it's a version of building blocks that look exactly like Minecraft, except they're little magnets, but they look just like Minecraft. And I wrote underneath it, boy, this would be awesome if it were a video game, and they blocked me. Just wanted to share.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
There's
That's
so
not
many
that bad. You're just
Yeah.
making a
I
sarcastic
thought it was
joke.
funny. I thought it was pretty
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I thought it was pretty
People
funny.
are-
But you know that like if those people thought I was trying to like hurt their feelings, I'd
Yeah.
be very upset. I'm sorry.
People are too quick to block other people. Like your minor joke now. You're like, blocked. And then you're like, wait, hold on. I'm just making a joke that other people would laugh at in this thread. You
Yeah,
have
but
to
that's
block
their
everybody.
business that you're making fun of, and people hate when you make fun of their business.
You're making. Well,
I'm over the
it's
magnets.
Not mean.
Everything
It's
is magnets now. My
know.
algorithm is all magnet toys. And we
Yeah,
have
I
to
know.
stop it because they're bad for dogs and kids.
Yeah, if you swallow
They're
them, that's
bad.
really
They're
bad.
not. We don't
Yeah.
need the earth filled with magnets. I don't think we need that. I don't think that's good.
But they're cheap to make. And,
I know.
And they're,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, it's magic.
It's cheap magic.
Are you going to do a Juggalo joke right now? How do they work?
It is cheap magic.
It really is. You're right.
Because you can't see.
Yeah, no.
It's
You
like,
can
oh,
track-
what?
Always impressive too.
yeah.
If you put a magnet on a glass table and put another magnet under the
And then
glass and
move
move
it,
it around,
yeah.
always impressive, no matter what age.
Still good thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's the
You're right. Cheap magic.
It's the firework equivalent of a snake. Because you're like, whoa. All right.
You got anything else?
Yeah. Have you seen the preview for Predator's Badlands? It's not really a preview yet, but the announcement of it.
Predators Badlands?
Yes.
So this is Predators in the Old West.
I think it's not. Supposedly,
up.
the Predator is supposed to be the good guy in this movie.
But he's
it's
in the
all-
Old West.
I think he's supposed to be in the Badlands of North Dakota. Is what I think the
I
place.
would like,
Okay.
I would like Predator Old West, right? That'd be cool.
So this is
This is like after Prey. Did you watch Prey?
I didn't
The one where
watch.
it's a Native American girl and she's fighting the Predator.
I
It was really good.
I saw Predator 2 with Danny Glover.
Oh, I like
Do
that
not
one.
watch that with your
Yeah.
kids.
I saw that one too. It's got
I'll give you a
boobies
heads
all in
up.
it.
There is a scene that I forgot about, and they're having sex really hardcore in.
Yeah, I
thing.
remember this
And-
changed me as a young. I was on a soccer trip. I was on a soccer trip with Coach Reese, and he rented that movie because he loved Danny Glover.
Yeah.
He's like, this will be like Lethal Weapon. So we put it on.
I'm too
and
old for this
Some
ass.
guy is.
Oh, she's
Pumping.
going crazy.
Oh.
She's on top, and my kids are watching this, and I'm like, oh, we can't watch this part.
Oh my god.
Ultrally violent and vulturally.
Is it like Commando, where the Predator breaks through the window or the
Kind of, yes.
through
Yes,
the
very-
motel wall?
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt your coitus.
So there's and now is this a sequel? Or does it have
I
nothing
think
to do?
it's the same guy that did Prey, who's Trachtenberg. He's directing this one as well, and I think he's writing it as well.
Okay.
And it looks like they're going to do like the Predator's the good guy and the humans are the bad people in this one.
So
They're changing it. They're doing like they did with Jurassic World, where the Velociraptors are the good guys now.
Nothing makes me feel more guilty than when I leave the movie theater and I'm like, we're the problem. Humans. It's us. We were the problem.
We
the
were the
whole
bad guys the whole
time.
time.
So we're going to be rooting for the Predator.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
always root for
Yeah.
the Predator.
It's gonna be like Cabin Boy's new podcast.
I
Who's
always
the
root
baddie?
for the Predator, but you know
Yeah.
the only thing I can't root for a Predator with his helmet off.
right? With the weird mouth where he's like that.
I cannot root for a pea face.
So what else you got, EJ?
The other one I got is the new James Gunn thing. He's coming out in December. It's Creature Commandos. Have you seen this?
No.
Where it's basically like Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, Weasel's in it, a GI robot, Rick Flag Jr. Senior.
GI robot.
GI robot, yeah. He's basically a robot made to kill Nazis, and that's what he was. And he doesn't feel comfortable in the regular world because he can't kill Nazis anymore. I thought that was
an anus scope. That's a GI robot.
That's how I saw my polyps.
I am GI robot. You have polyps, stage 3 cancer. Goodbye.
So it's a military.
It's basically
robot.
like Suicide Squad, but with like universal monster creatures.
Hey, you nerds!
Okay.
You nerds
James Gunn
is
doing this one. It's animated.
Get a glass of water.
Oh no!
And you got to start over. Everything's all. It's all you're doing the same. You go, oh, this is Suicide Squad, but this is the other one. We're the kill each other guys. No, you guys got to just wipe it all clean.
Oh, that reminds me. Vince Taylor got something wrong.
Oh, did
the
he?
other day, yeah. When
He's
talking
very
about the
bothered by Vince.
That bothered me. Yeah, you
Here's
did a
how
lot
you
of
know-
research when he came in. You never do nothing for me.
Here's how you know that EJ was bothered by Vince. As soon as it was known that Vince was on here, EJ was in the chat room like waiting, like
You made a
stalker.
mistake. This
like
is wrong.
Like a stalker outside of Hooters waiting for the girl to get in her Corolla, and you're about to strangle her behind a Big Lots.
He's like, this guy's better than me. He would have been a better college football player too, just based on his looks. He looks like everybody that was better than me. So, what was he wrong about?
The Thunderbolts and how they were formed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was mixing them up with the Dark Avengers. It's different teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a racist joke I heard. Dark Avengers.
No,
So the bride,
it's not that far off though.
the Bride of Frankenstein is stupid because
Yeah.
Okay.
it's Frankenstein with a beehive.
It's a Marge
And then
Simpson. It's a
there's-
Marge Simpson hair on a Frankenstein.
And then, so there's no like thing that makes her better than Frankenstein
No.
or
Same powers.
unique.
Same
Yeah.
powers.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's. I think the Frankenstein just has like some sort of elevated strength,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
the Hulk.
He has elevated
but not
strength.
even that strong because a bunch of
You
people
can hurt him.
Like
You can hurt him.
a bunch of
Scare a
villagers
fire.
with
Yeah.
pitchforks can and fire torches can scare him.
Well,
so
the greatest hurt was his heart because
Yeah.
the town turned their
They
back
also
on
threw
him.
that little girl in the water.
so what can Frankenstein do that everybody's even afraid of? He's just
Can't
like
die usually.
yeah. Then but
And then the girl, she's like, "Ah," like a little
She
laugh,
screams the whole
you know.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as she wakes up, she starts screaming.
Really? Is that?
Yeah. You never seen the
Do they ever have? Do they ever make love?
coitus?
Yeah. They ever make love?
Well, I imagine. Okay, let's analyze this. They have the bodies of actual human beings.
Well,
that-
a bunch of different.
It was
human
a bunch of different ones.
Oh yeah, the
So do
doctor.
you think he went out of his way to like piece them together that way too?
well, I'm sure.
If you're a real sicko, you do. Like me.
Think about it. He
Yeah.
made a woman for another dude.
Yeah, and then you're like, wow, somebody's got to try this thing out.
yeah. Don't shock her yet.
Hold on, unplug it. Unplug. It's like you're an electrician suddenly. Is it unplugged? And then your buddy's like, yeah. And then you get, boom, blew your ding dong.
It's a 220 in there.
Blew me off a ladder, blew my eyeballs out.
So this is coming out where
In December on Max.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
they're
nobody
doing-
wants any of this.
Oh.
Nobody wants anything that's coming out right now.
I don't know. The thing that Tom told me about is Florida. It's Florida Man. I've been watching that though. That was fun to watch. Thank you for recommending that.
Ever since the stories can't be sourced for some reason, it is repelling me.
And it's again, they're
Yeah.
blaming Florida for mental illness
Yes. Oh,
and drugs, and then
The
it's like
Gator guy definitely. They don't mention meth
Meth,
a single
yeah.
time in that episode, and you know.
Well,
just talking to the guy, it's
here-
like that's definitely meth.
Well, here's the tell. The other guy in the storytelling was like, I saw him picking up pieces of trash and making little piles all over the park. And I'm like, that's classic meth. Seriously. I remember my neighbor in Deltona used to mow my yard at night. In the middle of the night.
We'd so much energy.
We'd hear a push lawnmower. It was like 11:30. Me and Crystal would look through the blinds, and she's out there like a witch.
I can knock it out before midnight.
Yeah, mowing my dust lawn. And I'm like, oh my God, look at her mow the
That
lawn.
must have been fun to watch, though. Just drink a beer and watch
See,
that.
now there's a video there. There's a guy that's on meth and he's mowing the lawn on his roof. Have you seen that one? He's on the roof and he's mowing his lawn.
You start getting crazy because you get some psychosis because you've been up for days, so your brain's crazy.
Well, that's the only way you survive that too.
Chat room says something that I absolutely remember this. Go Surfing instead says, Dan, as a radio guy, do you remember or know of Fark.com? Which is like the origin of all the Florida stuff going back like 25 years. Yeah. Tom and I, when I would do original like show prep for any show, I mean, I do no show prep now. But when I used to do show prep, that was a joke. It's not really, but it is. But we would go to Fark.com and like click all the and they would
all the links
and all the
it's
different.
Like Ernie's House of Whoop Ass was the other one.
There was another one like Fark got into some trouble because they would have links to break up your day. They'd put a link in there that said Foobies, and Foobies was a like a Playboy style booby link. And as you're going through news, you'd be like, "Oh, Foobies!" You click it, all right, back to news. And you go through your news.
It's funny. I'm going to tell my kids that there was a time when I went on the internet and I wasn't suspicious of the things that were on there because I thought, why would someone put up lies?
Fake,
like there was a time. It was like 2008. That you go on the internet and you're like, oh, this is true. But you would think, you just assumed
and
everything.
you could go anywhere you want on the internet.
Yeah.
Like I would go anywhere.
You thought the information that someone bothered to put up there, like
they spent their time doing it. It was work,
Why would you put misleading information? I think there was no reason for it at that time.
Yeah.
Like, or at
but
least
we didn't
thought,
know that there wouldn't need to be a reason.
No, I know, I know.
That's the thing that I think is detaching people's brains from why we can't understand it. Is we don't for the trolls. It's like, well, why do you do it? They may not even know.
Yeah. And then there's like other reasons that the world's found out that is useful to mislead populations and things like so then that's how the cat's out of the bag.
The thought experiments, all that.
We'll never get back to sweet 2008 when you can go on the internet and then believe everything you read because you did it.
Sometimes I can't even go on the internet now. Like I'll go and I'll type something in and I'm so inundated with like pop-ups and fake information.
Sponsored
that
stuff.
I'll look at my wife. I'll be like, no one knows. There's no way of knowing.
You're back to the beginning.
I kind of like it.
All right. Anything else, CJ?
No, that's all I had really.
So,
Ellie Fanning's gonna be in that Predator movie.
Ellie Fanning?
Yeah, Ellie Fanning.
Ellie Fanning?
Yeah, she was the girl in. She was in the Great. Did you ever watch that show, The Great, about Catherine the Great?
No.
And she was in Russia.
See, I knew.
Oh, it's a fantastic show.
I knew that this would happen if you don't watch enough TV and movies.
Yeah, you're not going to get the people.
Then you get to a point where people start telling you new actors and actresses.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I only know who Timothy Chalamet is, or Chalamet. From Dune. I only know that guy. That's all I got.
From Willy Wonka or from Dune?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
or Saturday Night Live. Usually that's the way I usually find new people.
Sydney Sweeney, is she one?
Chaperone.
She's the one with the
Hot to Go song. That's why I learned that.
Yeah.
Let's end this conversation with a question I've been thinking about, and it has to do with NFL coaches and how important they are, right?
Oh, man.
So, because we've seen so many different instances where, you have an organization that has struggled for years, and then you bring in Harbaugh, and now all of a sudden the Chargers are good, right? And you're like, well, the players are the same. In fact, they got rid of a lot of players, and their record is good. They look like they're going to make the playoffs. The Chargers are playing well.
They're in the middle of their division,
And everybody's like, oh, this is Jim Harbaugh. Like, obviously, he came in and transformed their organization, And so you've seen that, and you're like, well, that makes sense. Good coach equals, it makes sense. But then it's like, remember during COVID when coaches would just not be able to even show up to games, and then the team would still win.
Yeah.
And I know that's like obviously in the middle of the season, and that the coaches.
Yeah, you've already implemented most of your stuff in the offseason.
But and then there's also instances where it's like Nick Sirianni from the Eagles, and I've heard people that know a lot more than I do are like, well, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator call the plays, and Nick Sirianni is more of like a general manager.
He's the Bobby Bowden.
And then
he makes the decisions on fourth down or kicking a field goal or whatever. Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, what is he doing then? And then the offense and defensive coordinator doing most of the work.
I have percentages for you from ChatGPT if you want to know what they
Yeah.
Because you like to know, because what you're asking is an impossible
It
question.
is. I know,
There's a
yeah.
lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
I love impossible questions.
I know you do, but ChatGPT is trying to answer you here. So
Okay.
I asked it what percentage, and I said you can't cheap out. This is a new thing I've started doing with ChatGPT.
You gotta pay.
I don't let it talk its way around me.
Yeah.
I say like, hey, you have to pick a percentage. I'm doing this. We're just playing around here.
Yeah.
Right? We're just doing a talk show. Like, help me out. And it says that it believes, the average NFL coach has the potential to affect a franchise between 30 and 40%.
Okay.
So
I can agree with that.
It says strategy and game management, which would be 10 to 15%. Leadership and motivation, 10 to 15%. Player development, 10%. What other percentages depend on? Player talent, 40 to 50%. Team chemistry, 10 to 15%. Front office and ownership decisions, 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
So
I don't disagree with any of that.
Yeah, I think this is
Yeah.
actually pretty decent.
So what confuses me is that, okay, you got an organization like the Chargers, you bring in Jim Harbaugh, and all of a sudden they're a winning organization, right?
Okay.
With less players than they had last year. You know, obviously they made some draft picks that he
Yeah.
wanted, blah, blah.
And they develop some players.
And then you got the Bears, who essentially, on paper, I guess, have an insanely good roster because of how many draft picks they had. Obviously, 2 number ones back to back, and a bunch of different good wide receivers, and the offensive line, and then the number 1 draft pick and Caleb Williams, and then everybody's blaming Eberflus for them being so bad, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, well, what are they exactly doing that's causing them to lose? Or is it a lot more luck and we're just looking for someone to blame? Because I'm like, how bad can his play calling be? And then all of a sudden you're like, well, he doesn't even call the plays. The offensive coordinator does.
Right,
So then
right.
I'm like, well, why is it his fault then?
Right.
And everybody's blaming him and then giving Jim Harbaugh all the credit.
For
Yeah.
it.
And
I
then,
mean, okay.
I don't even know if Jim Harbaugh even calls the plays during the games. He may have. I'm not too familiar with him, or if it's the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Because sometimes Andy Reid will call his own plays and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know for him.
and then it gets super complicated. So then it's like, are we just looking at, because it's so complicated, we're like, Eberflus's fault. Get him out of here.
well,
And-
also you might
like
be
a
taking,
sacrificial lamb of sort of?
yeah, it's like, is
Well,
it
that-
really his fault? Is he calling the wrong plays at the wrong time?
But also you're looking at the outcome at the end, and then you're working your way back. Sometimes it's like you don't know that because
Resulting. I know
Yeah.
I'm resulting, but
Yeah.
but it's hard when everybody's pointing at this is the problem, and I'm looking at it like, is it the problem, or is it
because
just
it might be a mix of like you don't have enough veterans on your team, and the guys that know how to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
Or there's too many young people on the team. That might be a problem as well.
see like, and then and this is
But like
way
Chicago, that's why I'm using that example.
way above my understanding and a lot of our fans' understanding.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm lumping us all in because this is super high level
they're,
stuff.
they're
Yeah.
chiming in. I
But-
mean, offensive coordinator was the coach's hire, no. So if he picked a crappy coordinator, he's going, and that guy's doing a poor job. I
And
mean,
sometimes you overrule your offensive coordinator. Like we always had a fight between our offensive line coach and our running backs coach, and there was this one play called Power O, and it was supposed to be a BC gap run. And the thing was, the offensive line coach wanted an A gap run. I'm like, that's dumb because the way that you're supposed to kick out an end with the fullback and your guards are supposed to pull around, and that was the reason and sometimes the coach has to be overruled. So that's what a head coach will have to do.
But I look at it like
this is a real head coach right here. You hear the way confident, the way he spoke that to you?
But I look at it like, all right, the coaches are calling the plays. Are they calling the wrong plays at the wrong time, which is resulting
usually-
in or are the plays are not working out the way they should have?
Well, that whole sheet that they have in front of them is usually a down and distance scenario. That everything's broken down to what play they should call
what you
by
need at
on
the time.
statistics.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, we're going to run a 12-yard in because it's 13 yards to go for first down because we got a holding penalty or something like that. And then that's a dumb play because you're not getting the 13 yards. But your veteran receivers say, okay, I'm going to break that off a little bit deeper at 14 and come back to 13 and get that first down.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. They're all kind of
It's a
in
lot
it
of
for the
stuff.
same. They're winning. Are they calling some ridiculously bad plays, or just happenstance the plays aren't working and they're like coach's fault?
Or think about it, the guy on the other side is getting paid just as much as you are to make sure you don't do well at the same time.
Well, I
so
think
like,
you can
I mean,
figure that
obviously
out.
makes a difference.
Here's a better example, like the fake punt.
for Dallas.
That's
yeah.
a poor call, right? I think we can all agree that
Because it didn't work. What if it worked?
If it works,
But,
yeah.
but it's never worked.
Yeah, well, it's go back to the Seahawks. Remember when they didn't run it with Marshawn Lynch on the goal line?
Yeah.
I still think that is the best call in their scenario because
lot of people
everyone
argue
thinks you're going to run with Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line.
Right.
And if you do something that they think you're going to run, you pass.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what you're supposed to do.
Is it luck? And then
Yeah, it's a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Because think about it. It's a game of inches, and any little thing that messes up, like if you lose your footing for half a second, you miss a pass, or you miss a block, or you miss a tackle.
Yeah.
All that stuff is really tiny and very minute.
Because yes, in the fake punt, they didn't get it twice in 2 games, and then everybody's like, "What an idiot!" But if they did get it,
You're a hero.
yeah.
You're a genius.
And then that safety doesn't make a
down,
play
yeah.
and come down because that's what happened. That safety just sniffed it out.
Yeah.
He knew it the whole time.
But if he didn't, and he was a little further, they get the first
Yeah.
down, and then all
He
of a
watched
sudden.
enough film to see what the play was
I
going to
tried
be.
it in
and
Atlanta, and it paid off this time.
yeah.
But if they make it, Mike McCarthy's like, oh, he's got balls to do it 2 times in a
Yeah.
row. Good call. No one saw it
So
coming.
the fact that you can't figure that
Yes,
out,
but it's resulting.
Good.
It's like I
Yeah,
said.
that'll never be.
I know,
That's
I
a
know.
no such thing as
Yeah.
that.
You
But I
never
like the question of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good question.
And then obviously it does make a difference. And then because you see organizations turn their entire, whole team around
Yeah.
from one year to another. And the only thing that changes is the coach and the personnel and stuff.
Yeah,
So-
but it's slight
Kind
differences.
of makes
That's all it
those of
takes
us that are
sometimes.
Falcons when you look over at Washington and see Dan
how they're doing
Quinn.
good.
You're kind of
yeah. And then that happens.
I like Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Like he took us to the Super Bowl. Then you put him in Washington. He's doing the same effing thing.
I like that when
Yeah.
that happens. That coach leaves to another team and he's doing well.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at that!
He's like, what?
And all the players are like, "Oh, he's so great!" And everyone's like, "Oh," and then all the commentators are like, "Man, I spent the whole day with Dan Quinn. Boy, is he just the greatest human on the planet." I'm like, "Okay, great.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Go Falcons! Go Falcons!"
Bad
Alrighty,
decision
then.
making.
Well, get your hunk of junk arcade game out of here. It's been on for 2 months.
you're paying for your electricity?
I've run a solid like 800 hours out of that thing.
And anything to plug?
Mycon might be back. We're not totally sure yet.
All right,
Yeah.
so waste of a plug.
Come watch me on Twitch
If
on
you
EJ_Chungus.
If you love uncertainty, we're your guys.
We will be right back.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Chris Crespo's here.
Hey, hey!
Hey.
Let's see if this works here.
We're gonna
Does it? It gave you a little crickle crackle.
I'll take it.
we're gonna talk a little streaming, some documentaries, just all other things, maybe besides from just movies,
Sure.
maybe little movies too.
What
but
do you subscribe to? Just to get it out of the way, are you in every? I said last Friday, and I want to make this known to
Okay.
Chris Crespo. I have reached maximum streaming. I subscribe to everything plus cable, which makes me
Oh, that makes you the
Dr.
king.
Manhattan
Yeah.
of streaming.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have everything. There's not one. I have Crunchyroll. We've talked about it.
Yep.
I have all of them at my house. All of them. Paramount Plus, ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
I have all of
I'm
them.
gonna start coming to your house.
Hulu, Disney
I'm gonna
Plus. You
cancel
don't
all my
even
stuff
need
and just
both.
come to your
I got
place.
both.
Yeah.
You don't even need. I got all of them. I got Spotify.
You don't even need the bundles because you got them all separate.
I got Apple
It's too
Plus.
much.
I got Apple. I got Tidal. I don't even need Tidal, but I got it. But anyway, I just want it known that we have them all.
I know I have a couple you haven't even heard of.
Okay,
for sure.
throw some at me.
Mubi, MUBI.
I don't have movies.
Yeah, Mubi. That's what the movie The Substance is on. Oh my goodness, guys, watch The Substance. I'm just throwing that out there. Fantastic film.
Okay, so do we have to?
You have to subscribe to Mubi,
to
or
Mubi.
else or else you have to rent it on its own. The Criterion Collection, they have their own app, the Criterion
Whoa,
Channel.
yeah.
Yeah, I pay like $100-something a year for that thing.
Whoa.
It's incredible.
What
It's
is that?
It's a lot of like
The greatest movies of all time.
yeah, Criterion. They put out they handpick movies to put out. First, it was on Laserdisc, and then
You don't
DVD.
watch the Criterion Collection?
You know
You've
about
never heard that
Criterion
term?
Collection, the C, that logo.
No.
They've been around since the maybe late '80s, early '90s. They started with Laserdisc. That's how old they are, and they're the first company to put together like special features, commentary tracks in one package for movies that you consider like, oh, this is an important film. When I say important, they also include stuff like RoboCop. Like they're not hoity-toity or very pretentious about
But they
movies
do.
that they
There's
like.
an element of art.
There is for sure an art element to what they
Yeah.
do. You know, you're not going to find a Transformers movie on there, but you will still find, action movies or whatever. And now they've evolved with culture and with times, and they have their own app, the Criterion app, and they update it every month. And there's incredible stuff on there, stuff that you can't even find streaming for rent or anything anywhere else sometimes, which is very, very cool.
There you go.
So there's too many streaming services.
I know we've talked about this a million times, but it is a true business psychology thing that if you offer too many options, that the customer gets overwhelmed and wants nothing.
Yep.
I'm there.
We are there with content because everybody, and we're doing it right now, telling you all these great things you should watch, and then the person sitting there listening, maybe writing it down, and then now you have 10 or 20 great things, and that translates to 50 hours of content, especially if you're describing a series that has in season 3
But I have
already.
to be honest with you. When I say I'm writing these things down, I'm not writing them down.
You're just doodling.
There's too many of them now. I don't write them down
it's
anymore.
ridiculous.
Yeah, too many.
Yeah.
But by the time, I'm sure Penguin is going to get into season 2.
My name
and
is
3.
Daniel, and I'm 5'2",
Oh,
man.
my goodness.
And if I wait that long to then start consuming it, 3 seasons of the Penguin or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
that's 30
you're not
hours
even
of
on
stuff.
Season 4 of Penguin's gay now. You don't
even know about
it. It's a whole totally different Penguin.
That happened to me with the Gary Oldman show that's on Apple right now, Slow Horses, where he plays an old, not a good spy, apparently. It's the whole crux of the show, that they're a bunch of spies that aren't very
Spoiler
good at what
alert,
they do.
the horses never get fast.
They never do. They stay slow. And when season 1 came out, I'm going to watch the show. They just released season 4 and renewed for season 5 and 6. And I'm like, well, now I'm 50 hours behind on this one show that I wanted to watch, let alone all the other shows that are out there that I want to watch. And now it feels daunting to even start it.
God, even having this conversation makes me just want to throw my television away.
Yeah, I'm going to read books from now on.
It's just too much. That's what my wife and daughter do.
I actually have a stack of books I need to read. That's become so daunting I can't even start my stack of books now. Yeah.
You should find those books on streaming.
the audio books.
Yeah, just stream them.
Yeah.
You know what happens to me is every time I actually have an hour carved out or let's watch something, then I think I'm oh yeah, I've been wanting to see or watch Furioso.
Good stuff about Furioso.
I think it's a fun movie.
Which is years old at this point.
Yeah.
And then I'm and then I go to
It's
it.
like the baby Mad Max girl Furioso, right?
Yes,
and-
exactly.
And then I'm too long.
2.5 hours. Yeah.
And then
You need a rapid Furioso.
and then I'm I'll watch something else. And then next thing you know, I start watching the preview channel, and then I'm 15 minutes in, and then I'm I'll just scroll reels.
Yeah.
And then I just go to scrolling TikTok reels, and
How do I turn off the thing where it starts playing the show? As I'm sitting there, I know it's
an autoplay
okay,
type
because
thing?
I'm so stupid that it'll start playing, and then I'm into the show now. I have to watch it.
That's why they did it for
Okay,
you.
and then I'm locked in. I'm
Yeah.
locked into it. I can't change it now. That's how I get into a lot of shows. That's how I got into the Dallas Cowboys show. That's not a show for me.
Because you were just sitting on the title
But I
and just
started watching.
playing?
I was like, this is a good show, this Dallas Cowboys show.
Wow.
And then you get to see old Jerry Jones, and his daughter looks exactly like him. Holy smokes.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
They're very lumpy people, the Joneses. They're very lumpy.
Money does that.
So let's just talk about some shows out there, Chris, that
Yeah.
you like or that you would recommend for people. And
Sure.
even before we start that, what is Silo? Because Daniel mentioned it, and you're oh yeah, Silo.
It's
what
one of
the
these
hell
shows
is that?
I think I can guess it. It's one of these shows that everybody tells me I have to see, and it's one of those concepts that I'm obsessed with. It's people that live inside an underground silo.
Yep.
And the
Okay.
whole silo is multiple cities, I think, right?
I think it's one big community, but it's huge. It goes extremely deep, so it is split up into factions, and the workers are all the way down to the bottom and stuff.
Yeah, that's where you put them.
Yeah, and then
Get to work.
if you do anything that's against that breaks their law, basically, then you get kicked out of the silo. Where outside it's supposed to be poisoned out there from some war or disaster or whatever.
Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic
Always
thing.
war.
And then of course there's one character played by Rebecca Ferguson, great actress, who she is discovering the true history of the silo and maybe why they're really down there and what really is outside. So now there's a big
God.
mystery as to what's really
We
going
were the
on.
enemy within the whole time.
Yeah, we poisoned ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me predict what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
awesome.
is that they all been living down there, but the world up top is perfectly fine at this point.
It was all a ruse.
It's like
it was
Fallout.
It was just a television show.
Yeah.
And they just
Yeah.
perpetuated
TV show.
don't
Truman
go
Show.
outside for so many generations.
For control.
That they forgot, and you're right, for control.
Yeah.
And then the upper echelons, like, we can't tell people that it's safe outside. We'll lose the control.
Everyone will leave.
Yeah.
You're not M. Night Shyamalan in my head. No, sirree.
Yeah.
I could see that coming a mile away. That's why I don't trust the current government.
So,
Good call. So yeah, the first season came out I think last year. Very good show. Second season just debuted maybe like right now. And it's all on Apple TV Plus. Yet another streaming service that not a lot of people have. But Apple has so much money at this point. It's almost like they're just. What I've heard is that they're using the streaming service, the shows, and the movies that they make on that service as advertising for Apple. Total, people see that there's a Brad Pitt. George Clooney movie out there, and it's on Apple, and then they're just thinking Apple and thinking Apple phone and Apple TV, and they're just thinking about the Apple ecosystem again. So it's almost just a write-off for them, these like $100 million, $150 million projects that no one's watching.
You know who's the most important people in that silo? The HVAC guys.
They legitimately are. Yes,
I was sitting there thinking
they
about
are.
that. I'm like, man, those HVAC guys are really important.
They are really
How many
working.
people do you have to have 1,000 people on staff?
call
for
it.
that silo.
Yeah, clean all those vents.
Yeah, at least 1,000 HVAC guys.
Absolutely.
Let's just call it AC repair.
No,
I
HVAC.
hate the HVAC.
It sounds a lot
You're
cooler.
like, vac, what's that, a vacuum? Is that like, yeah, but it's the inner workings of the system. It's a vacuum. You're like, just AC repair.
Okay.
Why
All right,
are you
that's
complicating things?
You're an AC guy. Relax.
When you're like, I'm an HVAC. I'm like, and then it takes me a second to realize AC repair. Just call it AC repair.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fair.
So let's talk about the inherent problem with streaming shows,
Okay.
right? And I feel like Breaking Bad was the only show that got it right, where they had an ending from the beginning.
Oh, sure. They had an idea where they wanted to go. Yeah.
And then that still holds, like, to me, one of the greatest streaming shows that I've ever watched was Breaking Bad.
Well,
Because
Breaking
it
Bad
ended.
technically was cable because
You're
it was
right.
on AMC. You can watch it obviously on streaming now, like most things.
Well,
but-
But I caught it streaming.
It
Yeah.
split the difference. It was one of those shows where it was cable, but most of us
On demand
got
watch it.
into it on demand.
before the last couple seasons.
Yes.
Yes, I did that.
Like
Yes.
And
mine,
binged it.
True,
the last
yes.
one I did where it had a sizable, like I would sit in front of the television and I watched the finale was The Sopranos. That was the last one I watched.
Oh, boy.
That was it.
Wow, that was a while ago, buddy.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And the problem with these shows, and the base of it is business, right? And
Don't talk about the base of it.
so
Wide.
So they have someone write a script for a season. They put it out. If it gets popular, then it gets green lighted for other
They'll
seasons.
keep making it. Yes.
And the problem is the writer may have only planned for that for season one.
Yeah.
Maybe had a loose idea for season two, but then all of a sudden, like, they're not writing it until they get the money for
Yeah.
season two. And so
Right.
now they're like, oh, season two, and they get, I'm sure, get told, like, let's draw this out. The longer, the better.
Sure.
Right.
So
Harry
then-
Potter did that,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
in the last
They
movies.
made the last movie 2 movies.
Yeah.
This is the problem with The Walking Dead, right? So
Oh,
like
totally.
they start just drawing it out, and then it gets diluted
There's a
and
new
worse
one now,
and worse.
The Book of Carol.
Oh, is that something like that gets is
Another-
getting drawn
another-
out?
There's
another
something
spin-off.
going
It's another
on right
spin-off,
now.
yeah.
I think it's Daryl Dixon, a motorcycle
Okay.
and a crossbow, and
Yeah.
he's looking for Carol.
Yeah, they keep going. And with Walking Dead, that was actually the funny thing about that was by design. The comic book started that way. The guy who started the book, who's Dan?
It was
Rob Kirkman is
yeah,
it?
it
his
was
name?
Kirkman. Yeah.
Kirkman wanted to make a zombie story that never ended. He was like, well, if a zombie apocalypse happened, it will probably just keep going on forever. Your characters will die, but there's still a zombie apocalypse.
Sure.
So he's like, what if I write a comic book series, start a series that can just conceivably go on forever in this zombie world? And it's a great idea, but then now you're getting to the point where, well, how many of these stories can we keep making up that involve zombies? Now we're recycling things. It feels another villain of the week. We go to the warden and the governor and whatever. So the same thing with the TV show. If they want the TV show to go on forever, people are going to get bored with it inevitably.
This happened to me with the show For All Mankind on Apple Plus. Like, started off great.
Yeah.
Even season 2 was pretty good. I was still in.
Yeah.
And now when they got to Mars, then me and Crystal just faded off and we're like disinterested, and it kind of ruined the whole goddamn thing for us.
That's interesting. I binged For All Mankind recently, the 4 seasons. I think the issue with that one is a little different. I did find the first couple seasons more compelling.
Yeah.
But I think it's because those seasons are rewriting of a history that already happened. So we're like, well, I know this happened, but they're saying, what if this instead? And that's fun. But now with the latest seasons, now it's speculation. Now we're in the future. We're on Mars. So they're not rewriting history. They're just coming up with a new history. Now it's kind of like almost just like any other show at this point. So the hook For All Mankind now changes. I'm still enjoying it. I'm going to watch season 5, I guess, whenever it comes out. But it does... It did change after a couple seasons for sure.
And then you're kind of limited to what you can do because you're not going to introduce aliens or anything ridiculous.
No.
You know, so it's like, how many times can you be trapped in a space capsule
Yeah.
over and over and over? Then
Right.
the air's running out
Yeah.
and they're trying to save you.
And
It's
how
like
many
all
times-
you got.
Oh, we got our first moon murder. Okay, now we got our first Mars murder. Okay, it's like, how many times can we just keep doing the same thing in a different location?
You're
Yeah.
limited by
Right.
just the really what storylines you could even come up with that
Yeah.
are feasible because
Yeah.
you go too ridiculous and then people, I guess, are really out. Although if you started introducing aliens, I'll be like, oh, I'm back in.
Maybe.
Right. 'cause
It's
it would change
so
it up.
absurd.
Yeah, what else are you going to do at this point? Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to end it with season 5. I can't see them going further than this. Although, I mean, like you said, if more people watch it and Apple's like, here's another $80 million, make another season, I'm sure they're like, okay, yeah, we'll sit down and figure out another more make-em-ups. We'll do them again. Yeah.
So, Chris, any other streaming shows you could think of? I know I watched the first 2 seasons of that It's Florida Man on HBO.
Yeah, so you're continuing with that.
I'm gonna watch not the season,
The
but the
episodes,
first 2
yeah.
episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna watch the
What'd you
third
think of
episode.
the second
It's
one?
it's put together well.
Is it funny though, or is it like?
It's funny.
Okay.
Although it's like pretty gruesome. Like the second episode was about a guy getting his arm bit off by a gator.
Ooh, nice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Although both episodes, like you're blaming Florida for just general mental illness and drug
Right.
addiction because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the guy in the episode 2 is like, first he wasn't even from Florida, he was from like up north somewhere.
Oh,
He
we get a
came
lot
out-
of that, yeah.
and then
Those Floridians know their way around a gator.
and he's obviously he was on meth. They left that part out, like the
You
fact
can't leave that part out.
you know, like
That's
and
a very important part.
so you're kind of just like, look at these weird characters from Florida. I'm like, first, he wasn't born in Florida, and he's on meth. And anybody on meth is going to do weird things. Like,
Right.
you're not really blaming Florida.
Yeah, but
you know, I know. It's,
If you
it's
can't
both a
get
thing.
Florida a pass,
Yeah.
gotta make it look dumb as hell.
No,
Yeah.
people love
Yeah.
talking down about this state. And you know what? Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Go ahead. That's fine.
That's
It-
fine.
It's well put together. I will say that.
And which one is that on? Like, is that Max?
HBO
That's a
Max,
Max
yeah.
show? Yeah, that's interesting.
But-
Max just started a Dune Prophecy last night, which is interesting.
Is it the same quality? Would you say it's
Same quality?
Exactly the same quality as the movie?
I would absolutely
Because
not
that was
say
my
that,
number
no.
one though, is that they have to do that. Like my
Yeah.
point, like I'm big on this. When you do a show from
a
movies,
movie, yeah.
or vice versa, because there was something. Aren't we getting a Game of Thrones movie that was like something that was thrown out last week or something?
Maybe they're bringing back the Jon Snow prequel or
But
series,
if you
whatever.
do
yeah.
it has to be the same either way.
Yes, and I could tell from the marketing, and I like the first episode. I think it's well done. It's still, even if it's expensive, it still looks like the TV show version of Dune. The costuming is not as intricate.
Gotcha.
The music, the score isn't as good because they don't have Hans Zimmer. You know, it's still based on Dune books. The son of the original author wrote more sequels to them, so it's based on that. It's filling a lot of backstory.
I would never let my kid do that.
Well, I think he did.
Like
He did after his dad died.
If
so.
Maisie's like, I want to continue the legacy
Of Tom and Dan?
of Tom and Dan and Mr. Snarts and all your characters, I'd be like, it dies with me.
You got
you don't get to take it in a different direction. for a
Get
new
Mo to write that
generation.
into your estate
That's a
because
good idea.
Yeah, because Herbert's kid was like, no, I'm making this Dune money, and the show is, I think it's good. I'm looking forward to it evolving. There's only one episode, but quality wise, like, it looks good, but it does not look as good as the movie. The very, very expensive movies. you
Well,
know.
it's funny because we don't understand what we're watching until you see like behind the scenes of like super, a $1 billion movie or
Yeah.
whatever. Where it's like each second of the CGI took 50 hours of
Yes.
rendering time.
Yeah.
You're like 50 hours a second.
Yeah.
You're like, of supercomputers rendering this, and they're like, that's
I
why it
turned
looks
this
so.
off for Pornhub.
And then we don't understand understand what that means
I was
until
like,
and then we see the movie Dune. And you're like, whoa, this looks nice. And the TV show, you're like, not as good.
Not as good.
And you're like, that's the 50 hours a second.
Yeah,
that took a supercomputer.
Or instead of getting the best costume designer in town because they can afford it, well, we got the third best guy. He's still good, and he's got good stuff, but it's not as good. You know,
It's the quality's a little less.
A little.
Did we get
less.
the adult movie Poon? Did we get that? We should have, right? I mean, it's the easiest one to do.
Poon Part 1 and Poon Part 2?
Yeah.
We did get P-word juice, which I saw.
No, we did not.
I'm
finding that.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's out.
finding that.
And then
Somebody. No, wait.
No,
I was
that's
going
not-
to do the mask. I was going to do the mask.
You were doing math.
it says P-word juice, and then in parentheses it says a Beetlejuice parody.
I hate it when they do
You
that.
didn't
And
need
then
to do that.
I'm like, I did the math on P-word.
So stupid.
I see the girl, and she's dressed like Beetlejuice.
Which one is it?
And
Oh, it's
she's
the
got-
girl just like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. That's why it's a
Oh, I
P-word
like that.
juice.
So they're changing the gender?
Yes.
I
wokeism.
love this. I think this is great.
I just don't like when they have all the makeup on and things start
Yeah.
smearing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like, come on,
smears
man.
off.
This
Yeah,
does
yeah,
not look
yeah.
good.
But
you can change it in post.
I didn't need you to put the parentheses
but
Beetlejuice
a parody.
I
You know
knew.
what?
I knew.
I
what
think
you-
legally they have to do that.
I know. Yeah.
I think it's a legal
That's
thing
stupid.
because
Maybe, yeah.
all of them do it.
I know it's
Stupid.
Yeah.
obnoxious. Yeah.
So any other shows?
I'll
that
throw
we should
this
talk
one out
about?
there real quick. I guess I'm just focusing on Apple right now. There's a limited series, only 7 episodes. No season 2 is happening, so you don't have to worry about something being dragged on. It's a show called Disclaimer.
Okay.
It's a drama. Kate Blanchett, Sacha Baron Cohen doing a dramatic role and very good. A couple other recognizable actors. Oh, Kevin Kline is in it. He does nothing these days, so he's in it playing an old frumpy British guy. And it's a great show about a woman who she gets a book that is describing a story from her past, like 15 years
yeah.
ago.
I actually wandered in accidentally to the trailer.
So
of
the trailer
this.
for it, yeah, it's excellent. It's written and directed by this guy Alfonso Cuarón, who made movies like Children of Men and Gravity. He's
she
a
starts
great
reading
filmmaker.
a book that's sent to her, and
Sent
then
her in the mail.
She realizes that the book that she got sent in the mail is actually her own life story.
It's describing her and something bad that happened, and her life starts falling apart when this book starts getting sent to people. And it's a 7-episode series, and it builds up great to the 7th episode. I don't want to spoil things, but the reveal in episode 7 is so interesting because it puts you, the viewer, in the same position as a lot of other characters in the show, and you have to then examine your own thought processes while you're watching the show. It actually challenges you as a viewer, if you're open to it. It challenges you as a viewer what you thought about this character.
I'm never open to a challenge.
Well, then stay far away, sir. Stay far away. But I
People
think
challenge me and I cower in fear.
you're like, no, I'm going home. Never mind. It's a great show. It's called Disclaimer. It's on Apple. Only 7 episodes. It's done. It's out. It's all out now. So that's good for
Chat
binging.
room is asking about Heretic quickly before we run.
Oh,
out.
Heretic! I had a lot of fun. I saw that movie this past weekend. That's Hugh Grant is a bad guy. You'll like this movie, Tom. A couple Mormon girls show up at Hugh Grant's house to preach the word
Now,
of Mormonism.
if it were a couple of Mormon girls that really showed up at Hugh Grant's house,
at real Hugh Grant's
I
house.
feel like they'd
yeah.
have a great time.
No, it would be awesome. And he invites them in and then challenges them on their beliefs and on just the whole idea of religion. He says he knows the one true religion, puts them through some things to examine their own belief system.
You know,
It's a
I've
fascinating
always wanted
film.
to have enough time to make a series of traps for people that come to my house.
Especially people who like religion too much.
Yeah, nor just anybody.
Oh, just anyone. Oh, you're
Yeah.
very open. Okay.
Like, hey, you want to come in here and try these traps? I got
That's
some traps.
that's a good one. Heretic. I think Tommy, you would really like it. Just the way it very openly explores and examines religion, its impact on people, and belief system and stuff like that.
Actually,
And it's
I think
entertaining.
I
It's
know
good.
the outcome of it, and I will say I like the ending to that one.
All right, there you
I
go.
thought it was a good ending.
There you go.
How did Hugh Grant get caught with the transgender prostitute?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think it was it a transgender prostitute?
Or you're thinking of Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, you're thinking of Eddie Murphy.
Oh, wait, no, I thought
I didn't.
But we
think
do
his-
know the name of the
Hugh
girl.
Grant was Divine Brown.
Divine Brown.
Yeah, I
Oh.
thought it was a
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Eddie Murphy was caught with a
With a
transsexual
possible
Okay.
transsexual.
So, but
person.
but how
Sexual
did Hugh
employee.
Grant get caught?
sloppiness.
Wasn't he in a park?
Yeah, he's somewhere public probably. He was probably in a
I
car.
thought he was in a public park.
I mean, he just picked her up on a street.
And then he was,
Just
trying
parked
to-
somewhere. And
I think he was in a park.
And then the cops did the old knocking on the window.
yeah, what are you doing? Why are these windows so steamy?
Odd that he did that.
Yeah, very odd.
Well, what's really odd
Very
is
odd.
that he was with at the time
Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
Who is one of the most beautiful women, in my opinion,
I mean,
of all time.
Still, to this day, she still looks incredible.
In June 1995, actor Hugh Grant was arrested in Los Angeles for engaging in lewd conduct with a sex worker, Divine Brown. The incident occurred when the police officer noted Grant's parked car repeatedly flashing its brake lights. He was stomping the brake lights. Yeah, he's like, I've never had one so good that it made me stomp the brake lights.
Wow.
Look, I've tried that. First of all, Andrea's never doing that in the car. Second of all, it's not gonna be so good. I'm gonna be, oh God, stomping the brakes.
Yeah, what is this guy doing?
Repeatedly flashing his brake lights, prompting further investigation. Upon approaching the vehicle, the officer discovered Grant and Brown engaged in a sexual act, leading to their arrest.
Wow.
Let's see, what act? Let's see if I can force it to tell. What act, ChatGPT? It told me, and then it got mad at itself, and it said it won't repeat it. This content may violate our usage policies. It was oral sex.
Stupid AI. Just tell us what it was.
I feel like I could hide that if a cop's coming up, like, oh, you push her away, and then we're like, we're just here talking baseball. But
they all do that.
And then
no one ever talks their way out of it.
What proof do they have?
Do you ever watch Live PD? No one ever talks their way out of it, ever. They always do that.
Yeah. Like,
we're just sitting here.
One of the other ones is if she's just a good girl, needs a ride home.
Yeah.
That's a big one. She's just giving her a ride home. When it's a sad state of America when you can't even be a goddamn good citizen and take a young woman with no teeth and dirty knees home. She has no home.
Just drop her off at the corner.
Here, home's here.
Get out.
That's closer than I thought.
We're here.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for running through that with us.
Yeah,
Again, Cinema Crespediso.
Thanks a lot for running through that. Thanks for running it through.
See where his mind's at right now.
This guy's an animal.
I was trying to describe what we did. I was like, what did we do?
A lot of good is what we did.
All right.
A lot of good. Yeah.
Cinema
I love it when you
Crespediso.
come in, man.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Cinema Crespediso podcast. Go there. Check it all out. If you need movie info, those are your boys.
There you go.
We will be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some Weird Job Wednesday.
All right. Now, full transparency, I know that you've been wanting me to write new Weird Job Wednesday songs, and it's never been easier to write new Weird Job Wednesday songs because we have AI now and we can do, all these great things. I did write a new one. I'm trying to branch out and do things. I don't want it to be the same lyrics every single time.
All right.
Okay. I mean, I know that people's attention spans now, they get bored super crazy. So I'm trying to hook them in. This is a brand new song. Here we go. Brand new Weird Job song from me and AI. Probably my most powerful song I've written.
4 a.m. your alarm goes off and it's time to go to work. Once again the second shift called out and the manager is a jerk. Remember when you enjoyed this place, there's no choice but to stay. 10 years in you wish you felt the rush that you did on your first day. Glory hole, give me all those dirty peckers, big old thick black triple deckers. Glory hole, glory hole. It's only gay if you can see me. I'm a chick man, just believe me. Glory hole, glory hole.
It's a brand new hit song from Dan Dennis, Glory
What does
Hole.
that have to do with a Weird Job?
It's only gay if you can see me. I'm a chick, dude. Just believe me. That's Glory Hole from Dan Dennis. Welcome back to K92 FM.
Why did you play that?
Now I'm branching out. I'm writing songs about really weird jobs, and I thought that working at a glory hole for 10 years would be a very odd job,
All right.
You want that rush of that first day, and it's not. You don't get that rush anymore. You just put the duct tape all around the circle and go to town.
Well, Weird Job Wednesday, brought to you by Sanford Weekend, Beer Fest.
The big
and so
Sanford
forth
Beer
and so.
Fest weekend. Come on out.
So on the line with us, we've got Jason Savage. How you doing, Jason?
Hey, Tom, how are you guys doing?
So, Jason, we've talked to you before, but Daniel told me that you have a new job.
That is correct. And I wanted to just make sure that I called out that I'm really happy to be associated with that intro music. It's a hit right off the bat.
I knew it.
Super excited about that.
I know what our guests and friends of the show like. I know what they like.
You know, you're playing to your audience for sure.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
have to. You have to.
All right, this is what people like.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
We're-
I mean, maybe the sick and twisted ones like me. But
Yeah.
anyways, I was working at Sony for over a decade, as you guys know, and we talked about that in the past. But I have moved on to become an independent manufacturer's representative. So that is a really weird way to say that I am a sales guy for hire from larger corporations that don't want to have a sales team on their P&L or necessarily as direct employees. So they contract guys such as myself to represent multiple brands, bring luxury items into homes, talk about electronics. So similar vein to where I was before, but just selling more of it.
It sort of sounds like what you do is like a would I be correct in thinking that, like, if you were quite wealthy and wanted to put in like a theater, that I could almost use you as like a personal shopper? Do I get like a different type of service from you because you're kind of an independent dealer?
Representative?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I am the B2B agent for salons like you're describing. So maybe you're for a local color, maybe you're going to call up the guys at Crown Audio.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
free plugs here, but there's a local business that
you
is
know what?
exactly
I don't
we're
mind
talking
even
about here.
talking about them because I used to do
Okay.
ads for them, and they were really, really nice to me. Like they,
Okay.
yeah, they were. It's funny that you even mentioned Crown Audio of all the ones that you're. Yeah, I worked with those guys probably 20 years ago. I'm guessing.
Okay, well, I helped many moons ago when I lived in Orlando. I worked for Crown Audio, so
No
that's
way.
why I
Oh,
use
wow.
them as a reference. So it's a very small world here. But in essence, they're like a salon where you want to go and say, hey, I want to trick out my house. I want to get audio in every room. I want to get TVs going. I'd like to get some lighting happening in my house. Maybe I'm into hi-fi. Anything that you can think of to trick out your house, I'm an agent for those manufacturers. So like toe kick lighting in your bathroom, it's 2:00 in the morning. I gotta get up and go and pee. I don't want to have the overhead lights on. I'd rather turn on this little switch and have cool under cabinet or toe kick lighting come on in the bathroom so I barely have to wake up. Those are the kinds of solutions and manufacturers that I represent.
So how does it work as far as, do you just tell all the different manufacturers like, hey, I'm doing this now. If you need me, you can call me. And like, you have to build a bunch of contacts first. So you knew all the you tell them, and then how do you know if the amount of work is going to be enough
That's a good question.
to make a living?
Because this also sounds very, and pardon, but it does sound like it almost has a little bit of that scariness of small business. It sounds like
it's mom and pop America for sure.
Yeah.
It really is. So again, you've got a bunch of smaller entities that offer these solutions to people, and then the manufacturers have figured out, hey, like there's this niche here where it's higher end or it's custom, costs more. I can sell these items for more, and I need people that know the guys in that market that sell this stuff. So I'm the guy that has the kind of the map of the network for the local dealers that these manufacturers want. So from my time working at Sony with all the contacts that I built up over a decade, I've been able to leverage that, we'll call it monochrome of fame, if you will, into business contacts that I've been leveraging here in the Pacific Northwest. So I live in the Seattle market, and I manage a bunch of dealers for a bunch of different brands in this territory. So they buy the speaker brand or they buy the TV brand. Because I'm the representative, I get a portion of that sale.
Gotcha.
So we continue to service them. We continue to offer them incentives. We continue to support them. We continue to do demos for clients, all kinds of stuff. Like I load more crap in the back of my Highlander to drag it out to houses for people to listen to stuff or see things. We do on-site demos, that kind of stuff. Like it's really kind of guerrilla marketing meets sales guy meets tech guy. And it's a perfect job for a person with ADD like myself, who's unmedicated. So like, there's a million things going on at the same time. I love it because it's like everywhere I look, there's something new to grab my attention.
I know I liked you.
and
I'm
things
glad
to
you were a
service.
true blood.
Oh, for sure.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Yeah, have you ever tried the medication? It's great.
Oh my God, I like all the medications. I have to take a little something to wake me up in the morning, like Michael Jackson, and then I have to take something to make me pass out at night, like Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So
Yeah, a little ups and downs. I like that.
So, Jason, let me ask you this, because we've been talking to you so long that the technology...
We've actually seen his career kind of progress, too, which is very cool.
But also, the technology progresses so fast that it's different than it was, let's say, 5 years ago when we talked to you about this same thing. So, let's say I'm rich and I want a home theater, right? And so I hire you to come design my home theater. Now, I know we've talked to you in the past, and it was better to go projection, like high-end projection in the past. But now I'm seeing like
all the influencers I
LED.
see, when I see like famous influencers that seemingly the people that have the unlimited money, when they're watching TV, it's a projection on a wall. I haven't seen a TV in an influencer's house in years.
Well, but I see 100-inch LED like nice TVs.
Oh yeah, they got big boys.
Yeah, that are pretty cheap, and I know in the past it was like, well, it's better to go projection for this size.
Yeah.
But now with LED TVs being so inexpensive, I've seen 100-inchers for like $2,000 or less. You know, like maybe the higher end ones, maybe $3,000. But like that's a big difference than it was 5 years ago. So I'm curious to what you would suggest as far as like a home theater system.
Well, if money's no object, direct view LED is kind of the new wave. And if you don't know what that means, really, it's essentially the big digital signage you see, the big LED walls. They make those in high enough resolution now where you can have, we'll say, a reference video experience with a direct view LED, where before that would have been a projector or, like you're saying, like a 100-inch TV. So if money's no object, you're putting in basically a digital billboard in a mixed media space where it's wide open. Maybe you've got like, and I say this because I've actually seen it firsthand. You've got a 16-foot wide video wall with 40 seats in a room, bar at the back. Maybe you've got a terrace above it, a balcony for the, when you don't want to mix with the guests at your house. And you've got, 40 some channels of audio. Like, this is a home. Like, this isn't a business. This isn't some, off the grid, Kodak studio. This is some guy's house by a lake.
Am I correct in thinking too that because it's a video wall, and I'm just going to use like really basic terms, and you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
So, so you've got this wall installed because it is basically a billboard, and because, like you said, you can hone it to a point where, you could get it as good as anything else. Will you have certain presets that you can use and plugins for whatever you'd like to use the wall for, such as
Correct.
like movie, gaming, and then you have different. Now, how does that work, or is that when you come in and you help configure it?
Oh, I don't do any of that stuff. There's people that are way smarter and way more technically, inclined than I am, or shall we say, skilled at this point in the world. But to answer your question, yeah, they've got different presets. You've got scalers. You've got high frame rate. So if you want to, for the gamers out there, you want to game at 144 frames a second with your gaming PC on an 8-foot wide or 10-foot wide video wall.
Jesus,
you can do that. It's nuts. The level of performance that you can get from a product like that is pretty mind-boggling. The scale of the cost of it right now is still pretty high. You're still talking about, a six-figure solution, $120,000 to $600,000 plus, a million if you want. Like, you can go crazy.
Yeah.
But the flip side to that is that technology is coming down. Tom already illustrated that you can buy a 100-inch TV right now from Sony for $5,000 retail, and that thing is badass. Like, that thing is lights out, crazy TV, one of the best ones that you can buy on the market. As we start to see the commoditization of regular flat panels, those more expensive options are going to become more popular, they become less expensive, and they become more prevalent.
So
Gotcha.
Is that LED screen better than a movie theater?
I think better is up to you.
Different,
what's the experience? From a surely technical point of view, the TV is going to be the most accurate. Is it the most immersive? Definitely not. Right. So it's like, where's your threshold for what's better? Am I totally immersed in this movie and I'm lost in the audio, or am I just scrolling my phone and half listening to it out of the side of my other ear?
Jason, I'm curious we were talking about like TVs are getting less and less expensive.
Well, somebody priced one just so if we want to go bare bones, let's say we wanted a Walmart out this weekend, we could run on up to Costco right now and get a 100-inch TV. Not good, but it's a 100-inch for $1,600. All right, $1,650.
Okay,
we can get a 100-inch TV at Costco.
Yeah, that's like
it's not good, but I'm just telling you. I'm just giving you the wall. If we wanted to have a Walmart, party.
I mean, but Costco's not selling some Temu like hunk of junk. Like it's at least it's the cheapest. It's gonna work for a while.
Yeah, I think it would work for as long as you take care of it. But it's just not. It's not gonna be like it's not what Jason's
Sony,
doing.
Yeah. But even then, I feel like they're all made in the same factory and they just stamp different. How does that work?
How much of that is true, Jason?
Well, there are a few major panel suppliers on the planet. Some of them are Chinese, some of them are South Korean. A couple of them are still Japanese, but for the most part, they're all buying from the same suppliers. And even manufacturers that are in competition with each other buy panel supply from each other. So it's really kind of a weird business. We'll just put it that way. Very appropriate for Weird Job Wednesday.
Yeah.
But they do the panel lottery, they call it. So in essence, manufacturer will say, "Hey, we tested this batch of panels and they're at grade B plus. Who wants to buy them?" Because they're not A plus like our panels, like we want them to be. So they'll offer them out, and whoever the highest bidder is will get, the B plus panels, and then they'll offer A panels. And it's really just different tiers of manufacturers buying the best quality that they can get for whatever price they put on it. And we're talking about like $1 billion deals that, they breathe like it's air. Like it's really scary when you think about the scale of the money.
It almost sounds like, in a weird way, the way you described them, like, I guess, like auctioning, for lack of a better term, panels off, or it sounds almost like the tuna business where
exactly right. You honestly nailed it right on the head.
You know what I mean? Like where the big fish comes in and like, who wants this one? This is
TVs are like tuna.
Delicious, Tom.
But like, what grade? What grade is this? Well, it's big, but it's not the best grade. Okay, well, it gets sold off of here. But this one right here, this little boy, he's not quite as big. But man, this is
A plus.
This is a platinum grade tuna. All that. It's weird. I didn't know that they graded panels like that. So. That's great. And do they fluctuate in price like currency?
Absolutely. And the reason that you see the TVs being so inexpensive right now is because post-COVID, the factories that were on it churn like, hey, it's never going to stop raining money. We need to just keep the factory going.
Yes.
Never shut off. So even as the economy slowed down in other markets and people stopped buying this product, the factory was still churning out panels left, right, and center.
That makes sense.
So the reason that there's so many TVs on the market and the prices are so good, and for consumers out there that are listening, there has never been a better time to buy a high-end television than right now.
Really?
Yeah,
oh my
baby.
God! The technology is so.
Thank you for
sick.
saying that. Oh, I'm gonna hit up Andrea tonight.
Yeah, I want 100.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, Jason said it. He's a genius.
It's the truth. I mean, literally, there's so much panel supply out there that all of those grade A panels, the beautiful tuna, is stacking up. The high-end manufacturers are going like, give me that grade A tuna. I'm going to build the baddest set I can build for the money. And in fact, it's not as profitable a business as it was 5 years ago, but we can offer this killer tech and it's super accessible. So they start getting more sell-through. So that's really where the market that I play in.
Tom and I aren't listening to you. We're just dreaming of 100-inch TVs
right
now. We're not
listening to you.
We were not listening to a thing anyone was saying. We're both sitting there with our eyes looking straight up into the sky, dreaming of 100-inch TVs. I think as a little boy, I didn't think it was possible to have a 100-inch TV.
Yeah, I thought that would be the extreme future.
My dad died not ever seeing that realization.
No,
you know what I mean? I almost
yeah.
need to buy it for him. I'm working on my arguments for Andrea.
So
I like those.
Yeah, thank you.
So Jason, I'm curious, like obviously you said now's never been a better time, but are we going to see like TV prices continue to go down to a point it's got to hit like
I think we phase out the TV. I think we all go to what he's saying. I think everybody's going to start designing their home in the future. Now, I kind of sound like you.
Okay.
But I think people are going to start designing their home with like, oh yeah, this is the media wall in the room. where we watch the shows.
Yeah, but you got to think like everybody like looks in the future and thinks that our infrastructure is going to change, and like look how much has changed. My house was built in 1972.
Oh, right.
Nothing's changed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still the same. You know, the inside has been gutted and changed, but it's still the same house as it was built 50 years ago, whatever.
Right.
So like I'm still limited to what I could do anyway. But I have a wall that I could put 100 on. But my question being, Jason, how cheap can they get? And is it going to reach like a plateau where, all right, these TVs can't, like a 50-inch LED TV can't be cheaper than $25, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? There has to be a bottom, right?
I'm taking 4 if that's the case.
Yeah, I was going to say, sign me up if they get that inexpensive. I'll just put them outside when they blow up. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we
But,
have a 60 for $200 at Walmart.
Yeah,
so,
I know they're getting
yeah.
insane.
I mean, that's the. I think the whole chat rooms. Everybody search it. Like it's fun to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you do want to do something fun, just search for cheap
Yeah,
TVs. It's fun.
I did buy a 60-inch for my outside TV
A cheapo?
for $298. It was some cheapo, but I was like $298.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, if this lasts a couple of years,
will.
I'm good.
It
You know,
will.
I was watching football.
Man,
it's
all
worth
the
it.
stuff that I've bought that I'm like, this won't last, is still working.
So, where's the bottom, Jason?
I wish I knew, Tom. I fight with that. I struggle with that every day with our market, because how do you show something as premium that, you know, is essentially a commodity, right? When you're looking out there, you're like, well, there's a $268 TV that's throwaway at Walmart. Why would I buy one that's $1,200, let alone $5,000, right?
I think a lot of younger people, though, are kind of coming around to the idea of buying things and keeping them.
I think there's an investment to be
Yeah.
made there. You know, there's certainly a value proposition. You know that if you're buying the cheapest thing, your level, you've already illustrated it, right? Your level is super low. I don't care if this thing dies, it cost me $300, right? Like it's garbage. It's
Right,
disposable.
right.
So I think, you know, once we got to maybe kind of get over some of that mind play or maybe reassociate TVs as, you know, if there's a new technology that comes out or a new level or a new bar that's aspirational, where like where 4K was when HD kind of went away and 4K came out, HD TVs were basically free. You could buy a 65-inch plasma TV for $500 and you couldn't make $1 selling a TV. Now 4K comes out and they're $14,000 and everybody's in a panic. You know, they kind of tried that with 8K. It hasn't quite materialized
It
yet,
hasn't,
but
yeah.
I would think that there's going to be a new aspirational technology. There'll be a new picture quality level. I think with the higher brightness that's coming with HDR and some of the other codecs that are out there, that will continue to drive premium, because you'll have to pay the extra money to get, you know, essentially the graphics card in the TV.
Gotcha.
To be able to power the higher fidelity imaging that's coming from the content out there.
Last question, real quick, Jason. When do you get the folding like map that you just stick to the wall and it's a LED TV? I've seen those in the
Yeah.
future, and they
Phones are getting closer.
They've
foldable
had,
phones.
Yeah, they've had folding. So the technology's kind of there,
it's
but
there.
That seems like portable TV you put in your pocket, then you just set up anywhere is the next iteration of.
You just described a projector, Tom. I just
Oh
wanted
God,
to throw
that
that
is
out.
stupid projector. I
I
want
want
to
a
fold it
projector.
like a map.
I want a projector.
I
though.
want a map.
I want one so
No.
bad. I want to finally beat you in the TV wars. You've been killing me.
I want
For the
to
last 20 years of our life, you've always had a bigger TV than me. And this is the 2025. Things are changing. Things are changing.
All right, Jason, where can people contact you if they are rich? And not that many people
don't
will.
have to
by
be
the-
rich. Maybe you just
You don't
want
have to be rich. Yeah, let's go ahead and clarify that. Anybody that needs help with technology, that's who we cater to.
There you
So
go.
whether it's I want a Sonos out in the backyard or a Blue Sound, or I want a full-on home theater, those are all the things that we cater to. So we've got our own in our marketing company. We've got our own podcast. So we're at the Inside Integration Podcast at inside_integration on the old YouTubes and on the on LinkedIn and all that good stuff.
Love
there. We're at olivermarketing.com is our parent company. So that's the marketing company that I work for. And if you check on that, you can see our line card. You can look at all of the brands that we represent in Northern
Nice.
California, Southern California, and in my neck of the woods, the Pacific Northwest.
Awesome. Well,
I
Jason,
love it, man.
thanks so much thanks for listening
Friend of the
to
show
us
for like
for all these
I feel
years.
like 15,
Yeah.
20 years now, man.
Man, I go back to, I mean, strangely enough, I remember the very first day that Dan was on the morning show.
Oh,
that goes, That goes back a long time to the Drew Garabo show and all that good stuff. So it's been just as much fun to listen to you guys over the years and watch you guys grow up.
Appreciate that,
to
man.
check in with me every 5 years.
I'm watching you through a TV that we bought from you.
Yeah, that's true.
That is now worth nothing. I couldn't give this TV away, Jason. Like we wanted to get a bigger one, and this TV was the best
People
state of
would
the
walk
art.
by it outside.
We couldn't afford it.
Put a free sign on it, and people would just walk by and go, "No, that's a free one."
I have a TV.
Yeah. If I went to the dump and I was like free TV, they would be like, I already got it. Like, I got a bigger one. So thanks, Jason. I appreciate it.
We
man.
appreciate you, man. Take care.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Take care.
All right, man. Have a good day. That is Jason live from his. He's got the Moz where you do the thing where you fuzz out your background.
No,
I don't trust people.
He's a tech guy.
I don't trust people when they do that.
They're
though.
like, why is it so
I'm like,
fuzzy?
why are you fuzzing? What are you fuzzing out?
Yeah, what's back there?
What do you got? Poo poo in your underpants back there, laying on the ground. What do you got? You fuzzed out your cat chewed up your couch or something? You don't want to see that because you look like a trash person.
We will see you tomorrow.